Alright, hello and welcome to today's video. The title is Live in Day-Tight Compartments. And this is kind of an idea that really meant a lot to me and made a huge difference in my life, so I'm really hoping I can do it justice and explain it well for you. This actually right here, this quote right here, is the only quote I've ever put on my door, and it's still up there to this day. I'll read it out loud now. It says, "The best possible way to prepare for tomorrow is to concentrate with all your intelligence, all your enthusiasm on doing today's work superbly today." And basically the idea behind that is that if we look at our life, we have this infinite span behind us and this infinite span in front of us. And we're living in this little chunk right here, and that chunk is the only part you can actually do anything. If I want to toss this pen up in the air, I can't go back in my past and toss it up in the air. I can't go to my future and toss it up. So basically the idea behind it is that you should put all your focus, all your energy on the chunk that you're living in, because that's the only one you can have an impact in right now. And where this gets kind of misconstrued and confused is people interpret it as, oh, but doesn't that mean I won't plan for my future if I never put any thought into it? And the idea isn't that you don't plan for your future. I'm actually a huge, I think people should plan out as many details as they can, but as long as your plan isn't just worrying about your future, and what you're doing with your plan is creating actionable steps that affect your present. Because if you make all these plans, but you don't change anything about what you're doing, then the plan doesn't actually do anything. So I think that's where the difference is. It's that, yes, I think that you should look at what you want in your future and you should change what you're doing in the present around that, but I don't think you should needlessly worry about problems or things, plans that aren't actually, all they're doing is taking away from your present. And part of that is just because it's not as valuable, but an even bigger part, which is in my little side tangent over here, is that people are happier when they're in the moment. When you're focused on what you're doing and not thinking about the past or the future, you're actually happier. And how I know this is that there was a study conducted where people would have these little dings go off randomly throughout the day, and every time they heard it, they would write down what they were doing, what they were thinking about, and how they felt, and they had scale 1 through 10, how happy you were. And what they found out was that even when people were doing things that were unenjoyed, not that fun, they still enjoyed it more when they were focused on what they were doing. So in almost all circumstances, when someone was focused over here on their past or over here on their future rather than on their present, they were less happy. So I think that's a very powerful idea that kind of goes along with it, but isn't necessarily in the same idea, but side tangent. So I've drawn this hourglass here, and basically this is all the stuff you're worried about. And by worry are things you have to do. And then that's what you've already done. There's all that you've already done. And maybe this is more or less, or you can change stuff around, but then this is the present, this is you, this little chunk right here. And basically, this chunk right here is all you can do in the present moment. No matter how much we like to say we can multitask, you can only do one thing well at a time. Obviously, if I have done something a million times, I can probably do it while doing something else, but it still takes away from your focus, and generally you can only do one thing at once. But so focus on that one thing at once, and that goes with the second quote I have over here, where when you're doing all that you can, that's all you can do, and you should be happy with it. So I'll read out the second quote now, and then I'll go into a little bit more about what that means. But the quote is, "I have supplied the best men with the best equipment. We have given them what seems to be the wisest mission. That is all I can do." So the idea behind that is that you think to yourself, well, first you have some sort of concern or worry. So concern. And then you say, well, what can I do about this? And if the answer is nothing, then you say, well, I shouldn't put my time and energy and focus into something I have zero control over. That's just silly. But if you do have something you can do, then you do it. And then once you've done it, you say, okay, well, what else can I do? And then if the answer is nothing, then you go, well, I've done all I can, and now there's no point giving any of my time and attention to things I can't control. And that's difficult to do, but as you kind of learn about this idea, you tend to kind of catch yourself doing it more and more, and then realizing, okay, manually turning your attention towards the present, things like that. And then over time you get better and better at it. It's never something you're going to be perfectly living in the past or present all the time. And obviously you do need to plan for your future and look for what kinds of things you want to do with your life, and how you're going to create actionable steps to get there. But in general, I do think that living in day-type compartments is a huge benefit, and it was for my life, and I hope I did it justice in showing you kind of some of the ideas behind it, and it can make an impact. So thanks for watching.